The memory has never left me. Even now, decades later, I can close my eyes and be back in that house. The cold floors, the heavy silence, the darkness that felt like it was watching. I was 5, maybe 6 years old when my family moved from England to Budapest, Hungary. It was the early 1990s. The Iron Curtain had just fallen. The world was rushing in to fill the vacuum. My father's company was among the first. We moved into a mansion on the outskirts of the city. 4 large bedrooms, a sprawling front yard, a backyard big enough to get lost in. My parents were thrilled. A house this size in England would have cost a fortune. Here, it was almost suspiciously cheap. We should have asked why. The first few months were wonderful. My sister and I ran through the yard until our legs gave out. School was fun. Life felt fresh. Then, the house began to show its true face. My sister and I shared a room upstairs, 2 beds on opposite walls, separated by a stretch of cold darkness. Every night we'd talk ourselves to sleep. One night, exhausted from hours of play, we both fell asleep almost the moment our heads hit the pillows. I woke up in the dead of night, dry-mouthed, thirsty. The room was pitch black. I blinked, letting my eyes adjust, and naturally glanced over at my sister's bed across the room. She was sitting up, just sitting there, perfectly still, a dark silhouette against the darker wall. I opened my mouth to call her name. Then she fell. Not lay down, fell, like a dead weight dropping, slammed straight back onto the mattress. The bed frame shook, the spring screamed. Before I could breathe, she shot back up. Slam. Up again. Slam. Over and over, a violent mechanical rhythm. Up, down, the bed groaning and shrieking with each impact. My body turned to stone. I couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't even blink. Then, silence. She sat up one final time and went completely still. And slowly, she turned her head toward me. Where her face should have been, there was only black. Not shadow, something deeper, an absolute consuming darkness where her features should have existed. The scream caught in my throat. My heart hammered so hard it hurt. I squeezed my eyes shut, praying, bargaining, begging for this to be a dream. When I forced them open again, she was still looking at me. Something broke loose inside me. I launched out of bed and sprinted across the room towards her. And she was just asleep, lying peacefully on her side, chest rising and falling, face soft and completely normal. The darkness gone, as if it had never existed. Weeks passed. Life slowly settled back into its rhythm. I almost convinced myself that it had been a nightmare. Then my mother screamed. I was hanging from the second-floor banister, upside down, like a bat roosting in the rafters. My legs were already slipping. My father lunged forward and caught me just as I fell. The doctors called it somnambulism, sleepwalking, common in children, they said, nothing to worry about. But it kept happening. Night after night, I would wake up suspended from something, hanging upside down in the dark, with no memory of how I got there. My parents, deeply religious, grew frightened in a way that went beyond medical explanations. A priest was called. He was a quiet, serious man. He spent nearly an hour alone in our bedroom. When he came out, his face carried something I had never seen on an adult before. Not fear, exactly. Something worse, knowing. He moved through the house slowly, murmuring in what I think was Latin, pausing in doorways, running his fingers along walls. Then he stopped at the bottom of the staircase and looked up at the ceiling, directly beneath our bedroom. He stood there for a long moment without speaking. When he finally turned to my parents, their faces turned white. We were in a hotel that same evening. The next morning, my father hired workers to tear open that section of ceiling. Behind a hidden trapdoor, tucked inside a sealed compartment, they found a small cloth bag filled with animal bones, and beside it, a tiny doll, assembled from those same bones, bound together with dark thread. Hanging upside down, we sold the house within the week. My parents' faith deepened into something unshakable after that. As for me, I drifted, not into disbelief, but into something harder to name. I know something exists beyond what we can explain. That house taught me that. I just no longer feel comfortable in churches. And I still don't sleep facing the wall. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button before you go. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need to hear stories like this. And if you want to hear more real horror stories like this one, subscribe and turn on notifications because there's always another story waiting. Thank you for listening. And remember, some doors should never be opened.